After a devastating loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, how can the Timberwolves get better this offseason? Let's get into it. If we look at their contracts, they got a lot of guys locked up long-term, right? Like the Julius Randle contract is probably, some would say, one of the worst contracts in the sport considering his inconsistency, though he was great until the OKC series. I don't think they're going to trade him, and I don't think it's a tradable contract, okay? And look, Rudy Gobert, you can't trade him either. No one wants that contract, and he was serviceable when he was on the floor this postseason. Naz Reid is the big one, right? We look at his player option and all that stuff. Like, he's going to opt out of that. They could sign and trade with him, and get more assets if they don't want to extend him. Or that's a massive extension coming from him, like $100 million. Say what you want about the DMs, that whole thing that came out with him and the fan, and like, I'm going to make $100 million and all that. Like, okay, are they going to extend him? That's super important as well. I think a tradable contract, because in the current NBA, you can only get better truly through drafting and trades. You look at Indiana, you look at OKC, besides the guys they drafted, like Caruso for OKC was a trade for Indiana. So was Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, really, that took them to the next level. It's tough, right? Because big, good free agents don't really sign in free agency. They're traded and extended typically, right? Or they're homegrown and drafted. Right now, the Timberwolves have the chance to not be an apron offender of the first or second. It's dependent on what they do, obviously, but they're not going to be in the second apron, okay? And what that provides them is flexibility for that taxpayer mid-level exception. They can get a solid player, and we can go into all those players in a part two. But I wanted to talk more about what they can do through the draft, because that 17th overall pick is very valuable. If Naz Reid ends up leaving, let's say they don't extend Naz Reid, he gets $100 million from someone else. I can see Asa Newell with the 17th overall pick. You get a guy that's versatile, is a good enough defender, athletic, kind of fits what they want at 6'10", 6'11", or a Will Riley, which kind of fits the build of like who the Timberwolves would draft, right? Like a Josh Minot type. Like, this is a guy who's very athletic, great defender, developing offensive game. Kind of fits the type of guy they would draft. Or they could go Walter Clayton, because think about it like this. They need more shot making. They are always top 5 in defense. It's all about offense. Even though the OKC series, you could say, look, their defense wasn't, that's just because OKC was so dominant. I don't think that's truly like the substantial issue here. They should have played Rob Dillingham and Terrence Shannon more the entire season. They didn't. That's a Chris Finch problem. Those guys will need to develop for this team to take the next step. But I could see them drafting a shot maker that's ready for NBA rotations like Walter Clayton Jr. Could also see Nick Clifford from Colorado State. This is a guy with a very smooth offensive game, high floor, and can play some defense, versatile as well. Regardless, like I mentioned, Terrence Shannon Jr. and Rob Dillingham need to play more. This is a team that just needs a few extra players. Like I mentioned, you see teams that made the finals, OKC, Indiana, right? These are guys that have 8, 9, 10 guys that can play basketball at a high level. I think depth is still a little bit of an issue for the Timberwolves. So that 17th overall pick could be a more NBA-ready guy and somebody they could play right away. And what happens with Mike Conley?